Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds podcast. This is your home for field trialing and deer dog hunting. It'll be stories and discussions on the world of dog hunting. So let's drop the gate, cast your hounds, and get ready for another episode of the Hounds podcast. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds podcast. Before we get started into this episode, we're going to keep on rocking and rolling what we've been doing this year. I think this has been a nice little addition to the show, and I've got a lot of positive messages about it. So definitely wanted to keep this going before we get rocking and rolling into the main episode. So our quote of the week is, "The best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today." And that comes from H. Jackson Brown Jr., And then our Bible verse of the week comes from Genesis 1:27. "So God created man in his own image. The image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them." So that is our quote and Bible verse for the week. Hope that maybe spoke to somebody out there. And I'm not going to delay this any further. I'm going to go ahead and start right into the episode. So here we go, guys. Drop the gate. The Hounds podcast is proud to partner again with Outdoor Dog Supply for the 2025 year. Outdoor Dog Supply is the leader in online garment sales with their world-class trade-in programs. The guys are not just a business, they're houndsmen and women too. They test their products out in the field, put them to the test, get the latest in garment equipment, and they stay locked and loaded and ready with field trial equipment, collars, leashes, and so much more. Visit their website today at outdoordogsupply.com, and we want to thank Outdoor Dog Supply for their support not only for the podcast but in field trials across the country. When you're looking for your next purchase in equipment, make sure you keep Outdoor Dog Supply in mind. Now, let's get this episode going, guys. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds podcast. On this episode, I am joined by Mr. Jeff Phillips of Star City Whitetails. How you doing tonight, brother?
Great, James. Doing good, man.
Good
Appreciate
deal.
you having me.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I definitely appreciate you coming on. If anybody is a deer dog guy, a deer man, a deer hunter, period, in the state of Virginia, and honestly, probably most of the surrounding states, if not the whole daggone country,
Yeah.
They probably heard of Star City Whitetails, and a buddy of mine sent me the idea, and I reached out, and we finally got hooked up, and I'm glad to have you on, brother.
Yeah, it's good timing. Appreciate it very much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right here in the middle of hunting season. So, before we get rocking and rolling, just kind of, obviously I've said you're Jeff Phillips, but just kind of give it an introduction, who you are, where you're from, and how long you've been into hunting in general.
Right on. Well, Jeff Phillips, and I'm the host of Star City Whitetails, and grateful, honored to do it, and have been doing it. I've had the page for at least a decade, but I'm from Roanoke, the Star City of the South. That's how I came up with the name. And really, it didn't start off as a Facebook page. It some years ago, probably 15 years ago, maybe 13 years ago, I realized I had a camcorder that had a remote to it. I'd gotten it like a couple Christmases prior, but never used a remote.
Right.
I thought, well, let's get a tripod and take this thing out in the woods and see if I can capture a hunt.
Right.
So the very first time I tried it, I just made a makeshift blind on the ground at the edge of a field, and it was going to deer hunt. And a couple deer came into the field. I turned the camera on, got it all ready, and then the deer just bolted by me. I mean, right by me. So I knew I didn't scare him. I was like, "What's going on?" And I look, and here comes a coyote. And so I was able to shoot a coyote with my crossbow. And during all that, I was like, man, I bet it didn't capture it, or I didn't have the camera angled right. And I looked back, and there it was. It blew me away. I was like, oh my gosh. So I started taking that camera every single time for years.
Right.
And I made little discs and would send them to friends and record the whole hunting season and put it on a CD and give it to people, and just had fun doing it. And that's what I called it, Star City Whitetails, because I was hunting within the confines of Roanoke. And then few other little things. I think I had a YouTube channel there for a little bit.
Okay.
Some of the filming of my hunts, and then my wife was like, I wasn't even on Facebook at all. She said, "You need to get on Facebook." So ultimately, it evolved into Facebook, and that probably about a decade ago. And passion will lead you down good roads.
Yep.
Typically.
Right.
If you're
Most
doing
of the time.
if you're doing the right thing. And I've been hunting my whole life. I'm 58, and I was thinking back because I figured you might ask how long I've been hunting since.
Right.
Probably since I was about 8 years, so 50 years.
Okay, I got you.
My grandfather started me off doing it.
Very nice. I was wondering who got you started. Yep.
Squirrel hunting.
Okay.
And he lived down at Smith Mountain Lake, so we would fish a lot too.
Gotcha.
So I grew up with him fishing and hunting, and he never forced it upon me. He just, because he was the only one in my family that hunted. So, but man, did I take to it. And it gets in your blood, right? People say that, but I think it does.
It's a fever. It's a fever.
Is. So I've been doing it for the better part of 50 years.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And, and I've becoming a father my own self. I got a 3-year-old, and that was one of the things. Me and my wife would always give me a hard time. She was like, "What if he doesn't like it?" I said, "Well, if he doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. I'm not going to force him to like it. I'm going to take him, and if I'm going to ask him, say when he starts making his own decisions, say, hey, do you want to come? If he says yes, come on. Let's go. Well, let's go.
Right.
But I feel like that's such an important thing that you said there, that you weren't forced into it. You were allowed to make your own opinion of it and experience it. If you enjoy it, come on, let's go. And that's where the memories start getting made right there, and that passion and that fuel starts happening right there.
Yeah, and back then, my grandfather would hunt in a flannel shirt and jeans. There was no camo.
Right.
Really, the only camo that was around was maybe some military camo, but it wasn't a big deal back then. We didn't make a big deal out of it. And I don't go into the woods these days without camo. I feel kind of silly not at least wearing it, but that was back when he'd wear, so I would too. And I didn't wear anything special. It was the experience that was special. He's the best person and the best man in my life, and he got me involved early, and I've loved it ever since.
I love that. That. I've seen those Facebook posts where they talk about all these guys in this high dollar camo, and they got these old gray and white pictures of they say old Pawpaw was putting them down in the blue jeans and the flannel shirts back in the day.
Yeah, and that's the case. It's all about being at the right place, at the right time. But I think all of us, if the vast majority of us do wear camo now, it kind of feels almost silly otherwise, just because we've been indoctrinated with camo for so long.
Right.
Yeah. But there's nothing like it. I mean, it's always the most special thing, hunting, and I do fish some, but I hunt much more than fish, just with the time that I have. So.
Gotcha. So you said you kind of started off in the squirrel hunting stuff, correct?
Yeah.
So when did you kind of start making that transition and start exploring, other venture, avenues of hunting?
Yeah, well, that would just be during squirrel season. When deer season come around, we would hunt.
I got you.
He loved hunting deer as well.
Right.
But squirrel, he wanted to get me involved in that, and I would encourage anybody getting young folks into something, if it's hunting, get them involved in squirrel hunting because it's active.
Yeah.
You see them, and you go after them, and you can talk and you can walk, and it's a very active as opposed to setting.
Yes.
I don't mind setting. It's nice to set when you've been doing stuff all the time and just take it in. But as a child, it's harder to get them to set, and be still, and do all the things that kind of are required for a good deer hunt.
Right.
But as far as squirrel hunting, man, that's the sport to start them. That's where to start them, I would, because you can shoot a smaller gun.
Yep.
A 22. It's very simple to shoot. Little children can shoot it, and not going to have any kick, and you can practice with it and get them tuned in. And again, it's exciting.
Yeah,
Exciting.
Nothing to scare them off.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and I think somebody had made a mention of that on one of my previous episodes too, and that was one of the things I've always thought about dog hunting. I had a guy that had hit me up. He was always interested in trying dog hunting, and he's like, but I got my kids. Do you care if my kids come? I'm like, no, come on. He's like, well, they're not going to be quiet. I was like, you don't have to be quiet doing this, buddy. I was like, tell them to come on, man. They can run around the truck and all that kind of stuff. Whenever we stop it, it's not going to hurt a thing, brother. But like you said, squirrel hunting, that's another avenue that's just perfect for young kids to experience that. Get out in the woods. The Hounds podcast would like to take a minute and talk about our friends over at Cajun Lights. When pleasure running at night or judging those nighttime field trials, put your trust in Cajun Lights. With the economical Cajun Bayou for the every now and then light user, the Cajun Micro for the nighttime feeds, and the top-level Cajun Blinder for those hardcore crossings. The Cajun Lights are headlamp-style lights that free up your hands for voice recorders or your GPS. They offer flood-style lights in red, amber, and white walking lights. Then the top-of-the-line 4-level main beam light. If you're having a hard time catching crossings at night, give the Cajun Light a try on the red and amber setting to catch the game with the easy flick of a switch and go right back to your main beam light and see your hounds in action. Visit our website today at CajunLights.com and check out and make sure you fill out the survey and select Hounds Tales Podcast to receive 5% off your next purchase from Cajun Lights. Now let's get back to the episode, guys.
It's the best. And that's basically it. So I was hunting deer, certainly by the age of 10. Mm-hmm. I shot my first deer at 12. And now with my page, it makes me feel like I was pretty old. But back then, maybe I felt very young doing it then. There's a lot of kids on the page, 5, 6, 7 years old.
Right.
But the thing is, if you can, when you're around a 4 and 5 and 6 year old, different kids are different. Not everybody, you can't call anybody mature at that age, but there's kids that are taught well and have practiced shooting and practice on one of those tripods,
right?
And with these different guns they have today, you can definitely have kids out there if they want to be,
right,
and they have practiced and they're good on paper.
Yep.
Why not take them? So I'm astonished, and people, sometimes say, "Oh, yeah, looks like Dad filled a tag and all that junk."
Right.
I do believe that those kids are really shooting those deer.
Oh yeah,
I really do, because I don't think the parent would take them out there and introduce them to that, and then shoot the deer in front of them. And,
right.
I mean, I think they're you got to practice with them. So,
yeah, that's a good way to keep a kid from becoming interested in, Dad, I saw this big buck and Dad shot it in front of me,
Yeah, just do the right thing. But,
I do see people joke all the time. They're like, well, that kid's spoiled for the rest of his life now. They got this big old monster shot at 7 years old, and, people have been hunting for 20 years trying to get something even close. They're like, oh, man, you'll never compare to that first buck now.
Yeah, well, and there were so many every year, those first bucks, when people send that in. That's so cool. Yep. And I always respond. I may not respond in the comments all the time, but I always respond to that person that has sent it to me in our dialogue about, congratulations. That's absolutely cool, especially a first deer. And some of these deer are, my first deer. Matter of fact, I know you'd mentioned something. You'd sent me some stuff we may go over, and you talked about buck fever.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And
that was actually my next question to you, so that works out perfect.
Yeah, and it's real. Obviously, it's real, and it stays real.
Yep.
And probably the day that it becomes unreal or not real is probably when you would stop doing it. But back in the day, when I was little, there were literal, and there still are in some counties, but a lot of these counties now it's doe.
Yeah.
Every day, it's doe day.
Right.
Back when I first started hunting, for one, hunting season didn't come until Monday. Was never a weekend.
Right.
We started on Monday, and you and the doe days were they were limited.
Very limited. Yep.
They were limited.
I remember these. Yep.
Yep. So there was a doe day. My grandfather took me hunting, and this is the first time he allowed me to sit by myself. He was about 100 yards away, and I could see him down there, and he could see me, but he allowed me to sit by myself. About 30 marlin, as I recall it. I think I had green corduroys and a green plaid shirt and a hunt cap, and I was just, and we hunted from the ground back then, because there were no stands like they have now, ladder stands and stuff. Matter of fact, for a long time, you just nailed boards and climbed trees and put up a tree house, basically, if you wanted to hunt out of a tree. But with my grandfather, I hunted off the ground.
Right.
So I'm sitting there, and he just reminded me, he says, "Now, Jeffrey, make sure, let's see, it actually was, it wasn't a doe day. It was not a doe day.
Right.
So does were off the menu. You could not shoot a doe that day." And he said, "But make sure it has horns."
Right.
So, no problem. It'll be easy. So I'm sitting there for a little while, and here comes a deer, and it's, when I can see it, it's where I can shoot it. It's got a nice rack,
right?
For sure. So I'm lining up. Bam! He hollers up there, "Did you get him?" I said, "Yeah." So he came up. I waited on him, and then we walked over there. And as we're getting closer, either I shot the horns off of it, or it doesn't have horns. And he said, "I don't see any horns." I said, "I tell you, he had a heck of a rack on him when I shot him."
Right.
So, and he did. I remember it. The deer did have a rack.
Right.
But that's the only time that I saw something that wasn't there, because I wanted it to be there. And and the buck fever and the mixture of all of that excitement. Never again has that ever happened. And it never will again. And it's crazy that it did happen, but I guess the combination of the buck fever, my first set by myself, wanting to shoot one so bad. That I grew the horns. I grew them. And so shot a doe and wasn't supposed to, and so that's my buck fever story. And I remember it, and he wasn't too sore about it, but he had told me, and but that's wild. That's my big buck fever story.
So was there not about what age was that? Were you at
12?
12, you said. That's what I thought you said. See, I wonder when they started to, or maybe it was certain counties. I know certain counties, like when I was a kid, under, I think it was 16, your first deer anyway could be anything. So I wasn't sure if maybe that was the same. That wasn't the same back then.
No. And that the game laws, and nothing against the DWR, but I guess in a way they could make stuff more clear.
Right.
There's a lot of muddiness when you read them. It's difficult, but I don't know that you can print them any different than they print them. It's just there's a lot going on with those game laws, and those have changed over the years so very much.
Right.
There was no Sunday hunting for the longest time, and
now there is. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned the Monday hunting. The first day of season was a Monday, and I don't. This was what I always heard. I want to see if you know any different than what I do, or maybe if the rumor is true. I heard, and from my understanding, that the reason they swapped it from Monday to Saturday is because school attendance dropped so much on those Mondays that they had to switch it. I know our school was like a 60% rate of people not going to school on opening day. Yeah, and that's the rumor I heard. I don't know if there's any truth to it or not.
Well, I know Craig County, which is just outside of Roanoke here, they for years, and I don't know if they do it now. It's great if they still do it or abide by it. But the first week of rifle, the school's closed. They're closed because they're not gonna field enough kids for the faculty to be there. So and I'm pretty sure they still do that. I think awesome. They do, but I know they did for years, and I think that's beautiful.
Right.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you had asked me, and I forgot. how, well, that's kind of how the page originated. But at the same time, because we're talking about Monday hunting, or back in the day, also back in the day, and for years, forever, the Roanoke Times, which is a big publication, the newspaper here, the Roanoke Times, had several outdoor writers, and they celebrated deer season.
Yeah.
So before that Monday, that Sunday, when the paper came out, the inside, the back page, and the whole back page was just full of deer stuff.
Yeah.
And that was how really I started my season off. I'd sit down and digest that and read it, and it was just like, I cannot wait until tomorrow. I cannot wait until tomorrow.
Right.
And over the years with technology, and about at the time that I was thinking of starting the page is when the newspaper quit celebrating hunting.
Right.
They quit having the pictures on there, because they used to reach out to me a little bit for pictures and stuff, and then the outdoor writers, they both left, and this is something, Bob Cochran, or Bill Cochran, excuse me, for over 50 years, half a century, he was an outdoor writer for them. So that as that was leaving, I wanted to give people here in this area, is what I thought, in and around this area, a place to still share and gather hunting information.
Right.
And I didn't set and write any goals down for Star City. It all happened organically.
Right.
Totally organically. It happened out of passion. It didn't happen for the point. It happened because I was into it.
Yeah.
But the way in which it grew and the things that I've done and how it's evolved, all of that's just been organic. But that foundation was because the paper, there was no place for people to go and share information anymore.
Yep.
And the paper's limited any way you get it. And, this is something, it's liberal as even though it's a liberal platform,
right?
It's really it's a great way to keep people together,
right?
So that's really the reason I created the page, is because of the lack of attention that the paper gave it. The paper, technology, everything's online, right?
Right.
So therefore, publications really went out the windows. People still get the newspaper, but not nearly like the readership that they used to and stuff like that. So that's really how Star City started. I started it to replace what I thought was a void. Just never knew what it would become.
All right, y'all, we're going to take a quick second and pause this episode, talk about our partners over at Elite Nutrition. Our Hounds guys, they're athletes. They give us their all each and every time they're cast. Elite Nutrition offers all natural products to give your dogs the natural benefits that they deserve. From the Canine Remove and All Natural Wormer to the ElectroBoost Paste for electrolyte replenishment, body fluid balance, and blood flow improvement, they also have products like Active Dog Powder for recovery and joint and muscle support, Essential Dog Powder for daily vitamins and minerals, probiotics, prebiotics, and enzymes, the Canine Lactate Powder for nursing dogs to help with milk supply. There are tons of other products to check out at CajunLights.com, and then click on the Elite Nutrition section to explore. When you get to checkout, and only at CajunLights.com, use the code HTElite10 to receive 10% off your Elite Nutrition products. Again, that's HT Hounds Tails Elite 10. So HT10 Elite 10 in the discount code section to receive 10% off of all your Elite Nutrition products, only via CajunLights.com. I've been using their products, guys, for several months now. Cannot be happy with the results. That's pretty much all I run my dogs off of. So thank you, Elite Nutrition, for joining up with the Hounds Tales podcast and taking a step forward into this field trial world. That's awesome. I can respect that a lot. That's knowing that makes you kind of respect the page even more. Like this is the reason behind it. It's not for a publicity stunt. It's so that you can gather collectively of people that have the same common interest and celebrate each other. It reminded me, I don't know if y'all had one around y'all. Everybody's normally got a local country store that you can go and get some breakfast, some lunch, whatever. And everyone that I've ever heard of, when hunting season come around, you took it, when you went and checked it in at the check-in station, you took the Polaroid and it printed the picture out and you hung it on the wall with your name and signed your name up under it. Man, that was the thing to do back when I was a kid. I couldn't wait to get my daggone picture up there with a buck and show it off to everybody.
I still have that Polaroid of that doe that had that big rack that I shot. I still have it. It's a Polaroid.
That's awesome.
And yes, you're exactly right. That check-in station was cool. The tailgate down, people standing outside.
Yep.
Just shooting the bull and talking deer, looking at deer as they're coming in. You hung out at the checking station.
Yep.
And that was so special.
It was
so endearing as a kid.
Yep.
I miss that.
Yep.
The check-ins, the telecheck.
Right.
It's pretty handy. I mean, it's easy.
Yep.
And so I'm not for or against it, but I do. It was just a neat experience. And it was one that was just so very valuable that the telecheck system is more efficient, I'm sure, and certainly more convenient for a lot of us.
Right.
Man, I miss that.
I do too.
I miss that.
I agree.
That was a big part of my upbringing in hunting is going to those check stations. And maybe I had a deer, but I know other people were going to be in there. And then the stories, the stories, and some people expanded on those and stories and just like the fish tail, it was bigger and bigger and bigger. But that's what was so precious about it.
Yep. 100%. 100%. I mean, it wasn't. Go ahead.
And sometimes people tell me that that the page reminds them of the check-in station.
Yeah.
Because they're sitting in the stand or whatever in the morning and stuff starts coming in.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they didn't have to go anywhere. They can still hunt and it's coming in.
Yep. I agree.
So,
I agree. I never thought about it like that, but
I never did either.
Yeah.
I would have never compared it. I would have never compared it because to me, it's not like it because
right.
physically going there and hanging out, but in a way, these days, it makes some sense.
The modern day check-in station.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and as you say it, I'm going back thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, man, if I'm sitting there waiting on the dogs to jump, or if we got a little downtime in between the chases, I'll look down and start scrolling through Star City and like, man, look at that daggone buck, like, good gosh, man, and just waiting to hear the stories. And that's one of my favorite things. We'll kind of roll into talking a little bit more about the page some more. That's one of my biggest things is I love that you get the stories behind the bucks, behind the deer, whatever it may be. It's not just a picture. It's not just a picture of, hey, this name and this thing. If people have a story behind it, they can put the story. And some of the stories are just, man, it just gets your blood pumping.
It does. And I used to try to really summons that out of people, but I'm the only admin on the page, and I want it that way. I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
But I tell you, this year, during, November, that first, I don't know, when the rut really starts hitting.
Right.
That 10 to the 20th there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'd go to bed. I go to bed pretty early, maybe 9 o'clock at the latest.
Yep. Right.
And I'd post right up till I go to bed. And then I get up and there's 40, waiting. And so I post those. And it was much busier this year consistently during November than it ever has been.
Right.
To a extreme rate.
Yeah, I noticed that. I really did. It seemed like, because it was I forget what buck it was. It was that really big buck that was killed in Appomattox right at, I think it was first day maybe of a rifle season or end of muzzleloader or somewhere in there. And I was trying to find it, and I'm scrolling, and I'm scrolling, and I'm scrolling, and I'm scrolling. I'm like, good God, how many daggone deer have been killed this today?
Right.
Like, it was nuts.
The one thing that I do have on there that people can use is if you go, at least for me, and I've told people this, but I guess since I'm the admin, my page might look a little different than it does to you. I don't know. But there's 3 little dots out there, and you click on that, and it brings up a number of options. One of them is search.
Yep.
And then you could put like Appomattox.
Right.
Or you could put the hunter's name if you knew. You couldn't just say big buck.
Right.
But if you had some sort of identification,
right,
it would bring you back to that. But you're right, because once the the middle of the day or even the evening of the middle of November, there's hundreds of posts on there, and the only way, if you don't have something specific or didn't search it, scrolling back. But it was a tremendous, a great season. I thought it would be, because it was so much rain through the summer, and I kept thinking, man, everything has stayed so green. I mean, we had consistent rain all the way through, and things were so very green. And then I think whether that had something to do with the amazing bumper crop of, the mast was unbelievable acorns. And that combination led to a very decent year. And it's not over. I mean, we're at the tail end, but some of the biggest deer always get killed in December.
That's right. That's right. Them smart, the ones that have the old phrase, they ain't big for no reason. Those are the ones that somehow slip up towards the middle of December.
Yeah.
And I tell you, the acorns, I don't know about y'all's way, but the acorns were massive this year.
Yeah.
It was not just little small acorns, northern acorns. Them suckers were like, an inch big, in diameter. Like, them suckers were massive acorns.
It was the healthiest acorn crop, like across the board.
Right.
Right. Because, and I don't know how all oaks work, but, some do it every year, some every other year, whatever it is.
Right.
I always like to see a bumper crop just simply for the healthy animals. The health of them, because people will say, well, it's harder to hunt them if they've got food, which makes sense. They don't have to go as far. But, hey, it's all good to keep them healthy, and the turkeys and, that's their main source of, food. So,
right.
And I hiked a mountain the other day, here in the middle of December, and it was still acorns all over the place. Not ones that they weren't brand new; they weren't just falling.
Right.
But I guess that they would still eat those if the going got tough.
Yeah, if it got tough.
Like a night like tonight.
No doubt.
10 degrees.
Extra fat on there. Well, I mean, we've noticed it a lot with the deer we're killing. It's some of the fattiest deer that we've seen too. It's
healthy.
Insane. God,
it's so good. I mean, it's so good to see. But yeah, healthy animals.
Absolutely. So the page has grown tremendously. I think how many followers are on there now? Do you remember off the top of your head?
Well,
I think it's 60,000. Am I maybe reaching in the right direction?
Well, you would fail miserably.
Oh, okay.
Would fail miserably. You said 60,000, right?
Yes.
Let's see. 122,000.
I was halfway there.
We're halfway there. Yeah.
It's an incredible number to even fathom starting a page and doing it all out of passion. There was no, like you said, there was no vendetta behind it. There was no goal. You never sat down and made no goals. It was just, hey, this is my idea. I'm going to promote it. I'm going to do it out of passion, and we're going to see where it goes. And it's grown into a lot. I mean, what are some of the furthest distances? I'm sure you get messages all the time. What's some of the furthest states away or countries away that you've gotten messages from that people are on there seeing? The Hounds Tales podcast is proud to announce our newest partnership with Dog Tight. Y'all watching on video, check out the hat. Be sure to check out dogtight.com, and when you are there, use our discount code HoundsTales15. That's HoundsTales, Tales, and the number 15 to get a 15% discount on any of your apparel that you get from dogtight.com. I'm sure y'all recognize the name, the Dog Tight song, Carson Robertson and Dog Tight clothing line has jumped on board with the podcast, and we are very, very excited to see where this takes us. So be sure, if you're looking for Dog Tight apparel, hats, hoodies, shirts. Check them out, dogtight.com, and use our discount code HoundsTales15 at checkout to get 15%. All right, guys, let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, I've certainly people out of the country, but I don't know if they just happened upon there.
Right.
But I have sent hats to Hawaii, to Alaska, to Massachusetts,
Awesome.
California.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who share pictures with me from Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And I, with diplomacy, I've never had one person get mad.
Yeah.
Still not one person. I simply say, hey, no discredit at all. It's an exclusive Virginia page.
Right.
And the reason that is simple. I'm here in Virginia.
Yep.
I'm hunting Virginia. I'm not hunting other places.
Right.
It's not that I don't care about the deer in Carolina, but I'm not hunting in Carolina.
Right.
And you guys that are following the page, most of them aren't. But there are people who do follow the page religiously from other states, but they are accepting of. And here's the other thing. I couldn't do it. I couldn't effectively cover those other states.
No way.
So much on my plate with this. It's just the most I could do is do this. And I think it would just water it down. I think it is the reason that it is a good page. Well, one, I keep up with it.
Yes.
And I care about it.
Yep.
But two, that I'm really focused on you folks here. On us. So I think that Virginia appreciates that. So, and it's no discredit to any other state.
Yes. Yep. And I'm going to tip my hat to you on this. I don't run a page, nothing like that. I have a podcast, whatever, I have TikTok and all that other stuff, a couple other little pages, but I'm not having to monitor and police and approve and make posts from the moment bow season starts to the last day of open rifle season. You've got a job, and I commend you 110% on the job that you do on not only making it work and doing it successfully, but monitoring and policing negativity on the page. Any kind of negativity, I've noticed if it does happen, it doesn't stay on there long. It's gone fast, and you do a great job of taking it and taking the ownership of that. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, I want to make it real, and our tradition is about respect. It's about ethics. It's about doing the right things, because you have a decision to make.
Yep.
There's plenty of you could do the wrong thing, and no one would ever know.
Right.
But guess who would know? You.
Yep.
And God knows.
Yourself. Yep.
Both of y'all know.
Yep.
And if that doesn't at you, I mean, you're serving your own sentence by doing the wrong things, because those of us who those of us who try to do the right thing, when you do something wrong, it eats at you.
It does.
And it should eat at you if you have good character. So
that's right.
And if you send something to my page, because I have people that message me, that's a poached deer, don't you? And that fires me up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, fires me up at the person that's sending that to me. How would I know?
Right.
What do you mean that's a poached deer? Do you know it to be a poached deer? And if you know it, don't blab off to me. Get the game warden involved. And guess what? Guess what?
Hey.
It's on the page now. So the game wardens, they've already documented that. That's their number one surveillance tool is my page.
Yep. Prime example.
Yeah, and I know a lot of game wardens. I like game wardens. I'm not doing something just like I like police officers and whomever else.
Right.
I appreciate it because they're trying to keep me safe.
Exactly.
And I'm not doing anything where they should be getting me in trouble.
Exactly.
And nor should anyone else. So the page serves as a great checks and balances.
Yep.
And yes, when I'm checking and balancing our humanity side of things, you wouldn't. I just don't ban you for no good reason. There's a good reason. And there have been people that argued with me, sent me a message, and I'm like, here's my phone number. Call me.
Right. Yep.
Let's talk. And we talk, and by the end of that conversation, not only are we friends, but you understood. but you were wrong, and you understood why I got mad, because I'm not getting mad for no reason. I want you to be on the page. Just don't do stupid stuff and react and get into an argument with Bob Smith over here about something that you feel he could have done differently when he didn't really do anything other than what he wanted to do in the first place, and it was legal. So, those type of things. But at the same time, I don't mind doing that because I think it helps people not react so much. But it's the bots and stuff as this page has grown. And any page I think you look at, there'll be some bots on there that aren't. It is a person, and oftentimes it's a woman who's exploiting in a way that's. And I spend the first 20 minutes of every day getting that off there and going back to all the likes, and there'll be 50 people a day that way that are banned, but they're not the same ones come back, but they're just out there. And I try to keep that off the page. I think that people understand that that's just part of the pages now. That the things get on there, and some admin, I don't look at other pages much at all because I'm looking at mine, but I really try to knock that out. And a good determination is usually if you see, if I scroll back tomorrow morning and I'm looking and it has 15 comments, but then all of a sudden something has 80 comments. Almost a guarantee
that's a ping,
that somebody's gotten on there and liked every comment or hearted them, and it's But I police it. Policing's a good word. I do, because it's my product. It's my product. Therefore, I want to try to keep it, as clean as I can.
That's right. I mean, I understand that. I mean, when I did the hunt, I had a benefit hunt for the gentleman, Mr. Lester Harvey, that got killed by the bear, the bear hunting accident. I never would have fathomed how much negativity would have come from that kind of incident. And I spent probably the better part of a month on just that one scenario, policing that, and I'm sure, good Lord, I felt so bad for you when the Hollywood cemetery buck happened last year, when that whole scenario happened. Honestly, it's probably because of your page the guy got caught. Honestly, I mean, if we would have put, be 100% honest about it, it's probably because of it, and it's great that it happened like that.
So it didn't do the page anything but good, because he'd already sent 2 deer in that were nice. And then when he sent me that last one, he just said, "Post it up, bud." And I was like, "Wait a minute, man. What's the story on this one?" Because I didn't know. I didn't recognize it. I didn't recognize it immediately. I just thought, "Good gosh, dude, you have had a marvelous." And me and him were trading back and forth, and personal dialogue through Messenger. And he was like, "Oh, it's he referred to the Lord, and the blessings and." It's just been a blessed year, and thank you and what you do for getting it out there. And I want you to get this one out there. And I said, I will. I just want to know the story. So he told me, he shot at a hunt club and maybe King William or whatever county was down east. And that's cool. And I put it on there within moments. Somebody had sent me a picture of it and then the Hollywood buck. And I was like, I started comparing. I'm like, I'd seen the Hollywood buck through the years, and there might have been a couple Hollywood bucks.
Right.
They were the great big ones, but I'm like, because it was a unique rack.
Yes,
right, and it had stickers in places that were too easy to identify. And there it was. So I got right back to him, and I said, "Hey, man, this is the Hollywood buck."
Right.
He just put HUH, with a question mark. And I said, "Dude."
Come on,
no,
man.
it didn't. And I, for a second, I was like, should I take it down or leave it up? The best thing I ever did was leave it up. I wasn't going to take it down for him. I just thought it would just go haywire. It did go haywire, viral, or whatever you want to call it. But it ended up, it was my page. He didn't share those bucks. And all 3 of them were for the cemetery, all 3 of them. And he didn't share them with any other page. And, so it ultimately ended up, my page and him sending those in is what obviously identified him. And I hope that the guy, honestly, I hope that you learn. I hope you just do something different.
Right.
That'd be a bad way to be as a poacher.
Yeah.
You know, I've never understood it because the living with yourself.
Right.
You know,
Right.
if you can you've got to be able to, right?
Yep.
Compartmentalize and be a liar. I mean, because you're a liar. You're a liar. And the worst thing in the world to be is that.
Right.
You can't have a good relationship. You can't have anything if it's built on lies. So I feel real bad for people who poach. But some people get a big kick out of it. It's all about ego, but it never gets you anywhere.
Yeah, you know, and that's I was joking with the wife about it the other day. She's like, because I am not a lucky person. I have not killed a buck worth mounting, and I'm 32 years old. I still ain't killed a buck worth mounting. And she's like, are you ever going to kill something? She's like comparing me to a buddy of mine. And I'm like, all right, easy now for one. I said, for two, I say he can walk out of his house in the morning and see a buck in his backyard and shoot it and be happy with it, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not me. You know, I had a scenario last year on opening morning, you know. I'm very blessed to live where I live, and then where I grew up is right amongst all our hunting land. And we have a good amount of acreage over at my house, and where I grew up. And anyway, I went up to the shop. I was going to get the tracking collars. In my headlights, as I was getting the tracking collars, I seen eyes laid down in the river bottom. I said, well, daggone, that's a deer bedded down right there. I was like, you know, I'm going to circle back after I get the collars on the dogs. Maybe he's sitting there when I get back, and I'll go cast on him and get him moving, you know, or at least he's going to be really close. Well, I went up, got the dogs collared up, waited till daylight, and I drove on back down there. And I get out the truck, and I look over in the creek bottom, and he's standing there. I mean, beautiful, probably 18, maybe even close to 20 inches, maybe about an 8-point, sitting there broadside 40 yards from me. And I'm like, man. So I get out and I put the gun up and I said, you know what, and I'm going to catch a lot of slack on this. I know I am when people listen to this. But I put the gun up, pointed it at him. I said, you know what, that's not sport to me. This dude was just bedded down. I got lucky. I just walked up on him. I said, that's not sport. You know, that's not what I'm here for. My job, what I'm here for is to run the deer. I want to run them. I want to cast on them. You know, I want to get this. I would rather turn loose on them and have the dogs earn it. Give that deer a chance. You know, that's just the way I am. You know?
I like that.
You know, to me, it wasn't sport. It wasn't. I wouldn't have felt any good about shooting that big old buck just because I happened to run up on him while he was sleeping. That's just not who I was. And I turned loose on him, and he made the right turn and got out, and he ended up living. He made it through, you know. I said, but hey, I felt better about giving that deer the chance than I did, you know, just shooting him because I happened to stumble upon him and he was sleeping, you know.
Yeah, I like that decision.
And a lot of people in the club gave me slack about it the rest of the day.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, I think 8 out of 10 people would have shouldered it and shot it, and it was legal.
For sure.
Legal to do so.
Yeah,
It's
100%
just,
legal. You know?
Yeah.
It just wasn't how I was. It's not how I think, you know. To me, it's give the deer a chance, and I didn't see where what I was doing there was giving the deer a chance. So
I agree. I agree with that.
And you know, you were talking earlier about the North Carolina people and other states and stuff like that. You know, the Hounds Tales podcast is happy to announce our newest partnership with Low 10 Outfitters. If your kennel is looking for new apparel to rock to the next field trial or the upcoming hunting season, look no further than Low 10 Outfitters. They offer shirts, hats, hoodies, coats, and other accessories with custom logos for your kennel or your hound's name to go on. With top quality merchandise and long-lasting quality, you can't go wrong with Low 10 Outfitters. Now we are offering Hounds Tales podcast apparel on their website at low10outfitters.com. Be on the lookout, guys. It's there. Go purchase it. We're live, guys. Go in, go purchase it. low10outfitters.com. Click on the Hounds Tales section for your Hounds Tales apparel and the Hounds Tales Pin Series apparel. So thank you so much for Low 10 Outfitters for teaming up with the Hounds Tales podcast. Now let's get you back to the rest of your episode. All right, everybody, we're going to cut it off right here for this week. We got about another, about an hour left into the conversation. It was a great conversation. I hope y'all thoroughly enjoyed this. It's definitely a kind of an eye-opener for me on the page, the man behind the page, and how it all got started. So I thought with it being right here towards the end of the year, in middle of hunting season, this would be a perfect way to go out on the podcast as far as how we close it out for the year. And next week I'll kind of talk about what's in store for next year a little bit more, and what the details are behind everything. But as y'all probably listened to in last week's episode, you've heard a lot of that. But for right now, we're going to end this episode, cut it in half, and finish the rest up of it next week. I thank y'all so much for listening, guys. And if you have not, please check us out on all your listening platforms. Like, follow, subscribe, share away, guys. The more views and more listens we can get, the better it looks for us, the more people we can reach, guys. So it's all up to y'all. Y'all been amazing so far, and I cannot thank y'all enough. But just keep on sharing away. Keep on doing what y'all do. Appreciate y'all, guys. Thank y'all so much, and we'll catch you next week for the last one of the year. All right, guys. Like always, happy hunting.